The following podcast is run by a couple of former wheel turners and one pit guy. It's meant for entertainment, not so much information, but sometimes there's some good information. The opinions expressed are just, these are the morons on the show. Not necessarily right, not necessarily wrong, not the views of any of the sponsors or anything like that. So, these guys, they're going to be talking, they might swear here and there, so if that offends you, either grow up or get a little permission from mom and dad.
All right, race fans, Brian Aho here, the one and only Bert Lehman, Coach Kraus in the house with us again tonight, episode 226 of the One to Go Show, brought to you by our friends over at Impact Health Sharing. So if you're in the market for a better alternative to overpriced health insurance, you're paying too much. If you are an employee, maybe you don't get good coverage from your employer. If you're a business owner, self-employed, trucker, whatever it may be, if you're looking to save money on what you spend every month on health insurance, maybe you're sick of going to a specific doctor. We don't have an in-network type deal. You can go to any provider. Hit me up, 218-969-1380, and I'll get you all the information you need and a no-obligation quote to Impact Health Sharing. Been able to save people a lot of money with that great product. So let's start by talking about, I guess, our weekend. I did not go to a race, but I do have a report. The One to Go Show 83 found a little bit of speed, not quite where they need to be yet, but after the Donkey Award, right, after being a jackass a couple weeks ago, good run for Dave. He did get second. Nice runner-up finish on opening night at Sycamore, and I think things are looking up. His cousin Brian, couple little issues. Hey, he had some speed in the car. Pretty optimistic there as well. Kraus, we're going to wait on you just a minute, but we're going to go to Bert. Bert, you go to Shawano this past week?
Yes, I did go to Shawano. I was planning to go to Seymour on Friday night, but that got rained out like pretty much everything else did. But I did go to Shawano. They had 20 late models there. So it was a good showing for the late models. I know 20 may not seem like a lot to you guys in the western part of Wisconsin and in Minnesota, but 20 for a weekly show is pretty good, and it's good racing. Troy Springborn won his second in a row, and Kurt Moeller, Kurt Moeller, brand new Mars car, and started on the front row in his heat race, and he was fast. He was leading, and it engulfed in smoke, and he blew the motor. So that. Hopefully he can get back out onto the track soon. It was his first night out on the season, and that's not a good way to start.
No, that's expensive. That's painful. We do not like seeing blowing engines out there for sure. We know, Kraus and I know full well what that costs, so hopefully he can get that thing back together. So, Bert, I got to ask you this. You watched Macon last night, right? The Madhouse on Dirt?
Yes.
We're going to segue in with this question. What would be a bigger kind of like, what the hell are you doing moment? T-Mac literally running into a parked car on a yellow, or 2 nights in a row driving into a tractor tire? Just asking, which we're going to have to go with T-Mac, right? Yeah, that's worse. Ain't it? Hitting a parked car, that's got to be worse.
Yeah, a car is bigger than a tractor tire. Not by much, but it is bigger than a tractor tire. So, yeah, I'm probably T-Mac.
I heard they had a meeting at the Viking Speedway. The track promoter over there, don't know his name, said something about that during the Superstock races moving forward, they're actually going to go out on the track. They're going to take the tractor tires, they're going to push them in the infield, and then they're going to push them back out on the track for the other races. Kraus, is that true?
No, it's not, because they're already gone. Someone stole them. They're missing. They're not even at the track today. I was there, and all the yellow tires are gone. So I have no clue where they ended up or where they're going. So it's just funny how that happens.
I'm going to say I don't know who might be a suspect in this deal. Maybe somebody with the 29 star camp. I got to be honest, man. It's painful, right? You the one to go show 29 star. We're used to seeing you running up front. Got a lot of wins. I would say you have more wins in the super stock than anybody else that's currently racing in the super stock at that track. I would have to say by quite a bit. What do we got to do to turn shit around? That couple tractor tires, DNFs, like. Are we going to call you Little Bloomquist here? Like you just pulling off every other lap because you can't make a whole race? I'm not. What's going on here?
It's a strong possibility, but you're right. I am the all-time winningest super stock driver in Viking Speedway history, so I do have something going for me anyway. But you know what it is. It was a busy weekend at Viking Speedway, so it's tough to get that promoter hat off and racing hat and. You know, we had, like I said, I got a lot of stuff going on over there. And when you're handling lineups and how many B features you're running, sometimes your racing slips a little bit. But I don't know what we're going to do. You know what I think we're going to do, Ryan? I think we're going to bring out the flat out performance turbine this week or next week. I'm going to bring my other car out and try that baby out. And I wanted to get that one going anyway. I've been meaning to do that and get it working a little bit better too. So it's a little bit newer car, and I think that'd be a good idea to get the flat out performance going though. But overall great weekend Viking Speedway. 110 cars on Saturday, 97 on Sunday. We only got 5 classes, 44 street stocks on Saturday, 37 street stocks on Friday or on Sunday, Ryan. And we can blame Lesotho for that one for the tranny rule because a bunch of guys blew trannies. And if we would have changed the rule the way it's supposed to be, we would have had more cars on Sunday. That's another topic we could talk about later. But overall, good racing. Crowds were good. Numbers were good. So, I'm happy with the weekend other than my racing performance. But overall, great weekend for Viking Speedway.
Well, it can't get worse, right? You can only go forward from here. So I think we got to turn it around this week. We can't be waiting 2-3 weeks. We can't be kind of figuring this deal out in September because that's when hockey season starts. So season is short for the 29 star. Let's get it together. Qualifying going on right now. Actually in about an hour. It's Wednesday night. We're doing the show. Apologize to everybody. We wanted to get it out earlier. Just things came up. We had some things going on, but we're getting it done. 10 o'clock qualifying tonight at Mississippi Thunder for the big deal. Guys, I guess we'll come back to this in a minute. Just are you surprised? Sounds like there was 260 pre-registered drivers. 145 made the trip. Are you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised that some drivers didn't show up, but that many not showing up, that is surprising to me.
Coach?
Boy, I tell you what, Ryan, $100,000 to win. Okay, and if you got a mod A, you got to get to that show. But switching the rules, 2 months after the deal, non-refundable, $500. Multiple Wasota guys I talked to this weekend that just couldn't make it. They had engine troubles. All of a sudden you're screwed out of $500. Do we blame that on XR and Barry, or do you blame it on us racers for being stupid for paying $500? That's a sponsor for me. So I think I'm really disappointed actually in that car count, especially with the hype, with the 260, and then all of a sudden you get to 145, and there's a bunch of big names, that didn't show up. So, I think I'm disappointed personally in only 145 cars.
I'm a little disappointed, but looking down the list, it is still, there is still an immense amount of talent. It's going to be a great show. They do an awesome job. They have their shit together down at Mississippi Thunder. Bob, Tim, Tyrone, all the whole group down there. That's an unbelievable place. I remember going there, guys. It was a trioval when it was a trioval speedway. Extremely unique, and what that place looks like now and the racing that goes on there, I'm excited to watch this over the next 3 nights. So let's jump into the top moments and stories of the week. Had 5, might have to add a 6th, but first a shout out here to Hard Charger Performance Specialties. That is Nick Hoff, based out of Sydney, Montana. Used to live up in northern Minnesota. He was right out of Hibbing there. Got to know Nick very well. Built engines for me in the past. won a lot of races with his stuff under the hood. So did Jeff Provenzino and many others. Now, if you're out in the Sydney, Montana area or anywhere, because he can ship as well, he's been building engines, guys, for over 20 years, everything from street stocks to late models, everything in between. And he does a great job. Also, if you're a WISSOTA guy, you're running a crate, you might need that repaired. In fact, let's be honest, it's a freaking crate. You're going to need it repaired. It's a pickup truck motor, but that's the guy that can do it for you. You can send it to Nick. He can take care of that. And if you just want to make your stuff faster, tune on it. If you're on that area, 500-mile radius, he's kind of the only guy out in Sydney there that has a dyno where you can put your engine on the dyno and Dulciac boys, put it on the dyno, get that thing running right so you don't spend the first couple nights at the racetrack with a miss, just saying, right? And he can help you out with that as well. So give Nick a call, 406-478-4437, Hard Charger Performance Specialties. Guys, let's start number 5. Midwest Modified Mama. Kraus, you got to see this firsthand. So Haley Dykoff, which is, of course, Haley Lee, married Kyle Dykoff. Bert, she had a kid here just over a month ago. And Kyle was running the B-Mod. She gets in the B-Mod. This is her first weekend back. 3rd on night 1. 8th to 1st on night number 2. That's impressive. 8th to 1st. I don't even care who you are, what class it is. 8th to 1st is getting it done. Welcome back. Congrats on the kid. And I tell you what, Kraus, what was it like to see that? Did the crowd go kind of crazy seeing her come from 8th to 1st? What was the reaction? Was there a little pop for her welcome back there in Victory Lane?
Tell you what, Ryan, the crowd went nuts. I mean, it went big time nuts. We had 2 huge moments to go back a little bit. That Nick McFarland kid I talked about last week, the 11-year-old, soon to be 12, got 3rd in his heat and actually made in the transfer, but decided to start in the back to be safe about it. So that was good. The crowd went nuts during that deal. And then Haley Lee was on a mission. I mean, and there was 21 Midwest mods on Saturday, Ryan. And you know how it is to beat the locals up at Viking Speedway, and she put a beat down on them. Went by the Bitsons and Ron Sauer and the whole clan there. So she was really fast. She was smooth. She was kind of running up a lane from everybody, keeping her momentum up. And I went over and congratulated her in the tech shed and her dad Jerry and obviously then Kyle afterward. I thought Kyle was going to get it done in the streeter and I think he ended up getting 3rd somewhere there on that Sunday, but he was leading a little bit. So super cool. It was. When you see that and you see a female win and you see the crowd reaction, it was a good crowd. I mean, the grandstand erupted. I mean, everybody in the pits turned around and like, holy smokes, what was that about? Oh, yeah, well, she won. So congrats to her. Did a great job. And like I said, she was super excited and fast and smooth.
Yeah, that was an awesome one right there. Number 4, most impressive WISSOTA modified A-main of the week. So I'm going to kind of lay out the groundwork here, and fans, we'll kind of give our thoughts, but this is an opportunity. Punch the buttons below. Let us know which one you think was more impressive. So 1A, 1B, Hibbing, Saturday night number 2 on the year up at the Hibbing Raceway. Tyler Kittner from 14th on the grid, working around the bottom. I tell you what, another track. Viking is kind of the opposite. Biggest track in WISSOTA, fastest track, high-flying half-mile. The locals are tough at home, right? Hibbing, smaller, little technical, dry slick, little bull ring. I mean, Buzzy Adams went there, struggled. Tyler Peterson went there, struggled. Tyler Kittner, 14th to 1st, working around the bottom. The Kittner family as a whole has won an absolute ass ton of races at the Hibbing Raceway, and it's no different. Tyler Kittner getting it done. That was a super good race. Bob Broking a little butthurt because he led a good chunk of that, but Tyler Kittner got by him on the bottom. 1B in this one here, the Big O. Night number 3 of the FYE Mod Nationals at Ogilvie Raceway in Ogilvie, Minnesota. Stacked field of modifieds, over 30 modifieds, some very, very good race cars. Mullet Nation, Ryan Gerke from 9th. Guys, if you were watching this race and you weren't listening, there was a hell of a race for 2nd, right? There was like 3-4 cars underneath the blanket. Hayden Blazer, Jody Belfi. There were several, right? Clayton Wagman battling for 2nd. Ryan Gerke went by them all and literally was on another stratosphere from ninth to first, put over a straightaway on some of the best in Wissota. And which one was stuck out to you? Did either one of you get to watch? I know you're both super busy this weekend. Did you watch either one of these races? And just on what you heard there, which one is more impressive to you?
I did not see either one of these races, but you said the Ryan Gerke one, that was part of the mod tour. I think, and the other one wasn't part of a tour, right? That was a weekly show.
Yep.
I think, even though, it was from 9th versus 14th, since it was part of the mod tour, and usually you have, some extra drivers and the cream of the crop in following a tour, I would put the Gerke win at the top.
Kraus?
Is Tyler Kittner a rookie?
Second year. He ran a couple years back. He ran a little bit in the modified as well. Last year was his first full year back, and this is his second year back in the modified.
Yeah, I got to go with Tyler Kittner on this one. I just think you start winning outside the top 10, 14th, and the local boys. We talked about the local boys, Ryan, like you said, beating them local boys up there in Hibbing. And I got to know Tyler a little bit and those guys up there. And they're all my hockey buddies up there. They all played hockey. They helped me recruit, get all those Iron Range boys down to Alexandria. So, the Estes and all those good guys. So I'm going to go with Tyler Kittner on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1A, 1B. Fans, punch the buttons. Let us know what you think. If you want to shoot us a message, if that's easier, whatever. But two very good races in Wissota modified action. Number 3. Did you guys watch anything from #Falls 20,000 to win the Illinois Dirt Shootout? Bert, did you watch that? Did you watch that one?
I did not.
Kraus?
Yeah, I watched a little bit. Believe it was Thursday, correct? Friday rain out. Is that how that went? And
that's
then
correct. Thursday prelims. Friday was supposed to be prelims. That rained out. Saturday was the finale.
Yeah, I watched the Thursday deal because I think were they right at 100 cars?
122.
Yeah, 120. So super, and it's the Falls. And it's going to be rough and tumble, and it's going to be quick. And I don't get it, Ryan. Like when Mike Harrison passes you on the outside at the Falls, you probably want to move up there, and those guys don't. You know what I mean? He just went by those guys. They get mixed up with those corners, whatever one was on the one on the right of your TV screen when you're watching, because sometimes their tracks are different over there. But like he goes up there, he runs a completely different line than everybody else at that place, and he just beats them. And it's like get up there and do something. He's behind you. Mike Harrison's coming on the high side, and he was fast and he was impressive. He was on a mission. I thought he was driving with a little attitude. So he was, he put a beat down on those boys, but I just can't figure out why those guys let Mike Harrison run that lane. Get up there and take it away from him, please, and do something different. But congrats to him, and he put on a show.
Yeah, so 122 mods for 20 grand to win, 145 mods for $100,000 to win, and they had already pre-entered. Interesting to me, right? Now, the great equalizer in this is Fairbury's a little bull ring. It's a quarter mile, right? So maybe they feel like we have a little bit better shot here. I don't know, Mississippi Thunder, you want to talk about locals? We'll talk about them in a minute. Them guys are absolutely insane fast. So you talked about the corners being goofy. Fairbury is one of those tracks. Their video equipment is in the back straightaway because they have a roof on the building. If they did it from the front, it'd be like a weird vantage point. So they actually do it from the back straightaway. So when you're watching, it's completely opposite of like every other race we watch on TV. But night number 1, the prelims, Mike Harrison, 16th to 1st. Impressive. And 8th to 1st in the 60-lap A main. He was up there in a hurry, and he had to fend off some sliders. Second place was Michael Long. He started 12th. He got second. Him and McKinney were throwing some haymakers at Harrison, and Harrison fended him off. And kind of one of those deals. So, Carlos, you've been on tracks where the cushion is aggressive, right? If you hit it wrong, it just shoves the nose and you'll slap the fence. That's Fairbury, because that place starts out. When you go to Fairbury, if you've ever been there in person, you look at the track an hour before race time, you You have got to be shitting me. Like, how are they going to race? I mean, like you look at it, it's like, this ain't rolled in. It's going to be a muddy mess. This is ridiculous. It starts muddy. It works, works in a groove, works in a cushion late in the night. And that cushion, you better have some frickin' stones to run the top of that track. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Very disappointed, though. I was going to call this a precursor to the 100 grand race. And for whatever reason, I don't know if did you guys see why, but he's scratched and he's not going to Mississippi Thunder after winning 20 grand last week.
Yeah, I didn't see why. I was just, when I was looking at the entry list for Mississippi Thunder for making picks and stuff, I saw Harrison had a line marked through his name, so he must have scratched from the event.
I would have said he would have been, if not the number one contending UMP driver, in the top two, because let's not forget Ethan Dotson is in the house, right? So he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. But Mike Harrison's a guy that legitimately I feel like might have had a shot to win that 100 grand, but I guess he's not going to be there. So if you want to watch him, better get down to Illinois. Guys, number 2, a super weekend for Dexton Cook. 3 for 3 Bert in FYE Mod National Superstock A mains. Superior Fuel, Joe Staria, promoter up at the Gondaclaw Speedway in Superior, Wisconsin, he kicked in a bonus. If a modified driver won all the nights, if he swept, that would have been a $10,000 bonus. The super stocks, if a guy swept, everybody kind of figured before that might have been Sabraski. It was Dexton Cook. Now, that's a $1,000 bonus. So he got to take home some of that Superior Fuel money. Guys, he has 6 wins on the year. Sabraski slumping, focusing on 3 different cars. Is this the year that Dexton Cook breaks through and takes home the Wissota Superstock national title?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Coach.
it's a good possibility, Ryan. He's been really consistent and fast. And, I was talking to Shane during the challenge series, and there's one thing he said, he's really worried about one of his cars slumping a little bit, is it happens. I know when I ran double duty, we were so focused on the street stock because I was leading the national points and ended up 4th. And my super definitely took a second seat to the streeter. So now when you have 3 and a lot of focus on a late model, because that's a new ride, it definitely could be. So, Dexton's going to run everywhere, and, Shane hasn't been taking the super out everywhere. So we could see Dexton get his first title.
Yeah, and he started right next to Sabraski in the front row at least one of those nights and drove away from him. He was extremely impressive. That thing is working really, really good, and he's got to be the odds-on favorite. All right, let's go to number 1, or what was going to be number 1, because I do have a 1A and I do have a 1B. So 1A, come get some. You talk about locals, Kraus. You talk about locals. Is there a better core group of modifieds in the entire country than that core group that races Mississippi Thunder and Deer Creek? Jim Chisholm, Brandon Davis, Lucas Schott, them guys play for keeps. Jake Tim, Dustin Sorensen. I mean, these guys are impressive. The race of the week that I watched over the past weekend here, Brandon Davis outdueled Jake Tim. Jake Tim got the lead on the high side, slapped the fence late, hell of a race. I mean, those guys, they never lifted. I mean, they were wide open for, I think it was a 40 or 50 lap feature there. And I tell you what, could be a precursor to what's going to happen this weekend. But Brandon Davis getting it done, 3rd through 5th, just as impressive. You take the top 2 out of it, there was a hell of a battle for the 3rd place. Telling you, these guys have to be the favorite. Would you agree to take home 100 large this weekend at Mississippi Thunder?
Well, I would agree that they're definitely at the top of the list or near the top of the list. And you're right. I mean, that modified talent in that area is just unbelievable. And, Dustin Sorensen won the USMTS championship a couple of years ago, and Tim's leading it this year so far. So, and the other drivers from that area are always finishing in the top 3, top 5 in USMTS stuff. So, they're definitely have to be considered the top contenders this weekend.
Well, Jim Chisholm 2nd in points, and he won 2 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 4 USMTS races this weekend. But a guy that's not a a USMTS guy, right? That does have, he won the USMTS race Saturday at Deer Creek. Could Lucas Schott shock the world this weekend at Mississippi Thunder?
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely could. He's fast everywhere he goes. He's in that list too with those guys. But and to answer the question, Ryan, I definitely think those guys are the favorite. I'm going to say yes. But listen, David Stremme, Cade Dillard, Steve Arpin, Ethan Dotson, Ricky Thornton Jr., Scott Bloomquist. Those guys don't show up just to be field fillers. Okay, they're coming there for blood. And if Jake Tim and Sorensen and those guys are near him, you're going to get the door, you're going to get the quarter panel, and you're going to get moved. So Bobby Pierce, throw his name in there. Like I said, those guys aren't coming. They're coming for the $100,000 and going back to wherever they're from. So it's fun. I got qualifying on right now, or they're hot lapping right now. It's fun seeing all the lap times and all the cars and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about this deal. But those locals, they're going to be tough, man.
Well, you said there might be a little door slap. I call bullshit. I mean, Bobby Pierce, RTJ, they would never, ever do that. That leads us to 1B, right? We were going to do the show yesterday. Thankfully, we didn't, because holy shit, the Madhouse on Dirt, the 5th mile bull ring, Macon, Illinois, Castrol Flow Racing Night in America last night. As a fan, highly entertained. As a driver, you're looking at that and like, holy shit, that looks expensive, right? So Ricky Thornton Jr. got her done. And I think it was 13 laps ago. I think it was lap 37. Pierce kind of bobbled a little bit. RTJ ended up throwing a death slider in there that I think he missed by about, I don't know, half a car. And Pierce didn't really like it. He ended up getting turned around. And I think he still ended up around 10th or whatever. But boy, the drama. Boy, the drama. What's I know you both watch this from that event, right? We know that RTJ won. What stuck out to you most from last night at Macon?
Well, just overall, all the cautions that were in that race. I mean, I know it's a little bull ring, but Rusty Schlenk after the race posted on Facebook that when the regional guys race 100-lap race, they hardly have any cautions.
Well, that's because 80 laps of it's freaking rubber, right? They actually watered it this one. But you're right. He did say that. But I would say that typically that Herald Review locks down rubber on about lap 10. So there's no side-by-side action, and there's probably not a whole lot of carnage. This one here, there was moisture and character and all kinds of stuff in the track. Kraus, your thoughts on this race? So was that your cup of tea? You're a big half-mile guy. What would you have enjoyed that race?
Oh, absolutely. But did Rusty Schlenk race last night?
No.
Nope.
Then he can put a big fat zipper right on his lips and stop being a keyboard warrior and stop chirping. He wasn't even there. You know what I mean? My big takeaway, we got a new name for it's not Butthurt Bob anymore. It's Butthurt Brandon. Boy, was Shepard a little, butthurt last night. I mean, listen, you get 24 cars on a quarter-mile bull ring that's wide open and hammer down and choppy and slick in some spots, and Ivan Stewart set up in one corner, and it was like that's the exact same role that I had in Fergus back in the day coming out of 2 Ryan. There was a big pile up and you couldn't do nothing. A guy picked me up and I laid on I was upside down for about as long as he was. And if my front bumper went to kinked in my radiator, I won the next night in Viking. But it sounds like Shepard's got to take 2 weeks off now to fix that soft roll with what within a house car. So that was my big takeaway. Is like, come on, Brandon, where's the old Shepard? Where it's like, we're going to get up on the wheel and throttle mash and win this thing. Now he's getting a little soft in his age, you think, but it was a fun race. And, RTJ and Pierce was a racing deal. They both said it afterward. It's going to be some drama coming down the stretch now, which is awesome. But overall, fun, entertaining race. I thought it was fun to watch.
Bigger drama. Well, go ahead, Bert. Go ahead.
Well, I was just did you listen to RTJ and Victory Lane?
Sure did. That's where I was going.
Okay, because he made the comment, well, I went in there and did the slider. I thought Bobby would have seen me and and put on the brakes, but I guess not. And sucks to be Bobby. So I mean, RTJ's attitude has just kind of changed. I don't know if it's because he didn't win the championship last year or what, but he's kind of got a different attitude this year.
That's not all he said in the victory lane. He also threw some darts at Garrett Smith for bringing out a caution, spinning out all the time. And so I was going to say, bigger controversy, him and, throwing some shots at Garrett Smith, or him and Pierce. I mean, let's face it, he pierced Pierce, right? Bobby Pierce does exactly the same thing in that same situation. That's just it. That's that's going to happen. Throwing some shots though at Garrett Smith for being kind of a little wise ass, and Garrett Smith is kind of throwing some shots out himself, and then Miles Moose and Turbo, right? Garrett Smith. Did you see his comment on Facebook?
Yes.
Basically saying that he's going to straighten out his goofy looking chin or whatever he said.
Yeah.
So them two, maybe there might be a little bit more drama there than it is with Pierce, because Pierce, they're both sponsored by Holker, and Pierce knows I would have did the same thing. It is, and he even said, Pierce said, I screwed up, right? I went down kind of battling with some lap traffic, trying to lap Turbo, didn't realize how bad the ruts were. That opened the door, kind of my own fault. But a little bit of controversy there. We talked about T-Mac, and Sheppy, unbelievable. I can't believe he's skipping the $100,000 to win show because he literally flopped his car over on the roof. Minimal body damage. I mean, you're right. Definitely getting soft. Maybe that's the domesticated side of him. I don't know. So
I have one more comment about the Pierce RTJ thing. Because if you listen to Pierce's interview after the race, he said it was just good, hard, aggressive racing. But then in the next statement, he said, I'm looking forward to some good, hard, aggressive racing in the future. So read between the lines on that one.
Maybe we'll see it this weekend, right? Tune in, XR Plus, right? The big deal at Mississippi Thunder, both of them in a modified. Guys, this past weekend, a lot of racing over Memorial Day weekend. There was so many freaking donkey awards to go around, right? We could start a dang petting zoo, right? There's so many donkeys out there. We could just start a petting zoo. But here's 5. And before we get to that, Kraus, I want to shout out to the editor of our show.
Yes, elevate-visual.com video productions. Make sure you need any video work done, any drone work done. Get a hold of Brandon over at elevate-visual.com. He's got a Facebook page, especially if you're a real estate agent, anything like that. Make sure you get a hold of Brandon at elevate-visual.com.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. Does a great job. Number 5, Hoosier Tire. Kraus, Bert, already, we're in May. Tires literally delaminating again. Saw a bunch of pictures on Facebook. Kraus, was there issues at all at Viking this weekend?
Nope, the high flying half mile and the track, nothing. And just want to give a live update here. Blake Adams just won the Midwest Mod race at Fiesta City tonight. Fiesta City is racing tonight. They had a rain out on Friday, and they have a rain date for Wednesday. So I got that on right here. Wanted to give a live update. Congrats to Blake Adams. Ryan, here's the deal with this Hoosier Tire deal, and our opinions on Hoosier Tire. We're mad about the 9%, not about the delaminating. We've had nothing at Viking Speedway. I've seen USRA tires delaminated. I've seen IMCA tires delaminating. I've seen all the sanctionings delaminating. I haven't had any issues up this way. Haven't seen anything in Fergus. Looking at that tire, who says he didn't run something over on the track, Ryan? You know what I mean? He could have ran over a piece of sheet metal or a screwdriver stuck in the track. So, a couple of years ago, we got into that a little bit. It was helping Hoosier a little bit, and with siping and grooving, and there was some stuff going on there that was forcing them to. But I haven't seen any issues. I think it's been doing okay. It's been doing okay, other than the 9% gong show. I think the Hoosier tires have been just fine, especially up this way.
Yeah, I saw some pictures online. I know Andy Jones had one come apart wrong. I know the Maters had a couple come apart. So something to keep an eye on. I guess we'll keep tabs. It's a couple. that have happened, could have ran something over. I guess I don't recall seeing that in USRA. You've seen that with the American racers?
Yeah, I've seen a couple posts. There's been a couple minor delaminating things, but majority of them said they probably ran something over and then they shredded. You know what I mean? So it's really, really tough to tell. Everybody just jumps the gun right now and blame it on Hoosier, but that's all over the 9%. It's got nothing to do with the actual tire. Everybody's just mad about the 9%, so we got to blame Hoosier for something. Which, yeah, I guess technically they are right.
Yeah, spot on. Number 4, got this one from Joe, Wisconsin race fan. Kurt Myers, come on, man. Can you go a weekend? He says, can Kurt Myers go a weekend without drama? Is it even possible for Kurt Myers to do that? A couple weeks back, he basically punted a guy blocking for his kid. And this past weekend, him and the 06 Jeremy Nelson get kicked off the track. I didn't get to see it. I looked at the camera view, but incidentally, I think he turned around the 06, or at least the 06 thought so. And I think 06 took Jeremy Nelson, 06, there's a couple different ones, kind of took a swipe at him on the track. And next thing you know, they're down the front straightaway and Myers takes a hard left. Let's just be completely honest. Kurt Myers is a guy, you fuck with him, you're going to get the horn. It just is what it is, right? He's an old school, hard-nosed. He is not taking shit from anybody. It ain't happening. He's going to race you freaking hard. He's not afraid to use a bumper. He's a super stock guy. Okay, that's what he is. If you don't like that, you're in the wrong class. It's a super stock, but man, it seems like, he did get a win. He won at Rice Lake, but it's either checkers or drama or a combination of both. Kurt Myers a little kind of keep an eye on him, see if maybe he can keep himself out of trouble. Big race coming up. We'll talk about that this weekend. He's got to be one of the favorites up there in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah, I got a reasoning for this, Ryan. He lost his smoking buddy, my dad. Kurt and my dad used to always smoke all the time. A few years ago at Montevideo, where I was looking for my dad, we're trying to tech. Myers won, I got second. Bert, we couldn't find Kurt. We were trying to tech his car. Well, him and my dad were around the corner having a smoke. They were at a smoke break. And I was like, we're trying to get through tech here, so I'm going to blame it. I'm going to put this on not having a smoking buddy. I think Kurt's kind of losing it there. So he's got to get the old golds out or the cool miles or whatever he's smoking and light those babies up and get after her.
Yeah, they call them ashtrays, so he might need to kind of relax just a little bit there. All right, double trouble. So we know Kraus ran into tires twice in 2 weeks. But have you ever seen this before? Father, son, both disqualified in heat races at Rice Lake. From what I understand, my sources told me that neither one of them went to the scales. Guys, Ryan and Eric Olson both finished in transfer positions or invert positions at the Rice Lake Speedway Saturday night. Neither one of them go to scales from what I'm told, and both of them disqualified in the heat race. How? I don't like racers. If you race and you finish in even what you think might be a transfer spot and you don't scale, you're just a dumbass, okay? Especially these two, they've been around the sport forever. Now, they did have a nice rebound. Eric Olson, 17th to 3rd. His kid Ryan Olson, 18th to 4th. So they did have a really good rebound, but have you in your life ever seen anything where, Kraus, have you ever not scaled and got disqualified ever?
I've never done it. They usually tell you on the receiver after the race. Now, WISSOTA did make a change. You only have to scale the top 3 after heats now. So there are technically qualified cars that don't have to go to scale. I don't know where they finished. I got no idea where they did, but no, I've never. I mean, you see guys not going to scale after they win. It's like, what are you guys doing? Brad Singh did it a few years ago at I-94 Speedway. Brad's been racing for hundreds of years. So, yeah, it's
he's kind of old and senile, though. I mean,
especially local. And, the scale's a little bit different there in Rice Lake. You got to peel off turn 2 and come across the infield. So that's the first thing when I went to the Little Dream was like, how's this scale thing work? That's the first thing I would go check out when I go to a track, especially a new track. But they're locals. They know what's going on. So who knows what's going on there.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. This one from an angry pogo fan, little pogo fan. Don't jump at an FYE event or you're going to get put to the back. Well, maybe. All right. So 2 instances, Bert. Friday, Thursday last week, Princeton Speedway, the FYE Mod National opening night. Modified heat race. Johnny Broking, biggest gift of the week, right? Hats off to him. He did get the win in the feature, had the fastest lap, so he had a good car in the feature. But he started 3rd inside in the heat, Bert. The front row both broke on the initial start. So now he's up to 3rd, right? Passing points, mind you. Initial restart, outside pole guy docked for jumping. Now, when you look at it just on its merits, questionable because he did burp the gas in the middle of the corner, but they started dead even. Nobody checked up for him. If it's me, I look at that, I'm like, that ain't a jump. Okay. But by rule, I guess if you kind of fire and then you lift, they can call it, right? So Caden Blazer gets docked for jumping. Johnny Broking goes from 5th to 2nd, outside pole on a kind of a top dominant track without even making half a lap, right? So kind of worked out for him. So Caden Blazer gets docked. In my opinion, bad call. That's my opinion. Okay. Mod 4 feature, Dean Larson, mind you, 10 for 10 to start the year. This guy is a national title contender. So is Tommy Pagonis. Tommy Pagonis leading the feature, Delaware double file restart, Pagonis out front, Dean Larson inside coming off of 4. Now, Tommy Pagonis does what you should not do. If you're leading, you do not do the monster or the semi-truck turn, go way out to the top of 4 and try to get a run and leave the whole bottom open. That's what he did. Dean Larson, dead sideways or dead next to him, coming off of 4, clearly jumped, right? The flag man, allegedly, this is what's told to me, right, turned around because they asked, you going to call that? Well, up in the booth, Chris up there in the booth said, no, we're going to let that one go. The flag man turns around, puts his arms up like, what are you talking about? Like, how, what? That was clearly a jump. So, Kraus, you saw both of these. Bert, you might have too, because I sent it in the text thread. If you call the Caden Blazer jump, don't you feel like you have to call the other one because it's worse? Do you got to be the same? Your thoughts?
Yeah, you definitely do. I saw them both. The first one would have been a classic case of let's throw the yellow once they get through turn 2 and just redo the whole deal. You know what I mean? It just wasn't a good start. Let's not automatically dock people. You know what I mean? Let's use common sense here. And then the Dean Larson deal. I mean, he was leading before they even took the deal. And my big thing is there's a reason why you have flagmen and corner guys. And they need to make the calls. I don't care who's running the show. They need to make the calls there. And then he needs to stay, who needs to stay out of the call making business. And then people aren't going to get mad at him and not show up to his shows and pay his $9,000 for every little fee to go to the bathroom or whatever it is. So he's just got to let the track people do it. Let the corner guy do it. You know what I mean? And you have to be consistent too. That's the big thing.
I agree 100% with what Coach said there. I mean, if you call one, you have to call the other. I mean, I think all people, racers and fans, they understand mistakes are made, but I think all they ask for is consistency. And, as long as you're consistent in making your calls, that's all you can ask for. And I agree also that you have flagmen and corner guys for a reason. Let them do their jobs.
I think that's well said. So punch the buttons below, right? Did Caden Blazer get screwed? Did Tommy Pagonis get screwed? Let us know what you think in the comments. All right. And that leaves us to number 1, this one coming from Splinter. Don't spin out a lapper. You're going to get put to the back. Well, maybe, maybe not, right? Hibbing Raceway Saturday night. They couple instances here with lap cars, modified A main. Jeffrey Wood, who incidentally is down at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway for the big deal. Good luck, Jeffrey Wood down there. Another Balkan Township guy, kind of lived right down the road from me. So he's up there, I think second or third, and the camera angle didn't show it good, but it looked like he got into the lapper. He gets put to the back. Okay. First things first, Kraus, if you spin out a lapper, assuming that the lapper didn't cross it up and get dead sideways, if you just get into a lapper and spin them, should you go to the back for that?
No, I'm going with a man bun Dan here. You're a lap car. You're not part of the race. Get out of the way. There's a flag there, and I get that thing, but it's. I did it one time in Madison, and guy got tight right in front of me, and I shot my nose under there, and he came down. I spun him out. I flat out spun him out, and lucky the flag man saw what I saw, and I ended up getting my spot back. But I unless it's completely obvious and blatant, you got to get the lapper back out of the way. Shouldn't be there anyway, and give the leader his spot back. That's just my opinion. Unless it's something completely stupid, intentional, and blatant, lappers get out of the way. Give the leader their spot back.
That leads me to the next instance, which may or may not have been a little bit more obvious. Late model A main, Dirty 30. My boy Kevin Burdick leading the feature, and I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. To me, and I want Burdick to win. I'm a Burdick guy, right? I love seeing Burdick win. It looked to me like the lapper might be pushed just a little bit, and he flat out drove through the back of him, yard sailed him. Same corner, both of them spin on a lapper. The modified driver gets put to the back. Kevin Burdick gets his spot back, goes on to win the A main. People were up in arms. They're pissed. They're exactly like you said. We need some freaking consistency. You can't do it both ways. One way or the other. Should Burdick have gone to the back on that deal? And what's your thoughts on that one?
Well, you sent that to us via text, and I did see that one. And yeah, I mean, when I watched it, it looked like he spun him out, and I would say he was the cause of the spin. So, I mean, I agree with Coach in the fact that now I lost my train of thought. Coach has confused me. No. I mean, I don't, unless it's blatant, where you spin them, then you should be the cause. But if the lapper does something stupid and or does something that ultimately causes the leader to spin them, then I don't think they should be punished. But if you just flat out spin them just to get rid of them, then I think there should be a penalty.
So Kraus, the Provenzino camp feels like they got robbed of a win. They feel like 30 should have went to the back. They should have got the win. Your thoughts on that? Did they make the right call by giving Burdick his spot back, or what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with it. But at the end of the day, there was a yellow thrown after that deal, right? So technically with sort of rules, someone's got to go to the back. Well, lapper's already in the back. Did Burdick cause the yellow? Did the lapper cause the yellow? So super tough call. Super tough call. The big thing has got to be consistent. So that's a big thing there. So live update, Fiesta City Speedway, Colton Brower with the street stock win over his brother Braden. And the super stocks are going green right now.
All right, Colton Brower, the Brower camp getting there done in Victory Lane. So Kraus, let me ask you that. Oh, go ahead, Bert.
I have a live update too, just for Ryan. The Brewers beat the Cubs tonight.
Oh boy. All right. More of a Twins guy, but we won't talk about them. They're just not very good this year. They had a little nice stretch, but that's about it. So Kraus, you're the promoter at the Viking Speedway, right?
Correct. Yes, I am.
Do you have, how many people call you per week saying, hey, I want to be an official. I want to be a corner guy. I want to be a flag man. I want to make calls. I want to be a head judge. Do you guys, I'm guessing you must have a list of 200-300 people that you got to sift and sort through and kind of look at their what they've done in the past, kind of vet it, right? You must have a pretty long list of people volunteering to take them jobs.
Yeah, it's called a brand new tablet still sitting in Walmart that hasn't been opened yet. It's not, and we're fortunate enough. a race fan who's a non-racer in 1 and 2, and he just loves doing it. You know what I mean? So, and then my other guy is actually a board member who has been a part of race teams and, worked at racetracks. And, obviously now Mike Blom's our flagman up in I-94, and his brother had raced and stuff like that. So, but nobody wants those jobs. There's nobody in that world that wants those jobs. And it's tough. They're human. Look at the NBA officials right now, the ridicule they're getting, they're human. So it's tough to see at some of these racetracks. Things happen fast. You got a lot of area to cover. So just, my big thing I've learned a long time ago, especially with officials, be respectful to them. They're human. They are going to make mistakes and things like that. So, but yeah, there's nobody out there, Ryan, that wants to be a corner guy or a flag man.
Well, and then, I just want to add, as far as their responsibilities, I mean, we talk about, well, whose fault is it? Did they cause this? I mean, we watch a replay, we watch it 5, 6, 7 times to try to determine who's at fault. These officials are seeing it, live. They don't get to watch replays, and, they have to make a split decision. So it's not an easy job to do.
Yeah, we bang on the officials, right? We'd be like, what the hell are they doing? Right? So Angel Hernandez, probably the most ridiculed Major League Baseball guy. He retired. People are like, good. I think he's going to be a new corner guy at Viking Speedway. Hope you're happy. Yeah, it's not something people are signing up for. There's tracks out there, right, that are like, we can't find anybody. Like they're trying to get people to come from other tracks, and so it's a thankless job. It's very hard to find somebody. So we'll cut them a little bit of slack. All right, guys, little who's hot, who's not, brought to you by Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating, proud sponsor of the #1 series in Wissota Racing, the Northland Superstock Series. They open up this coming Saturday night at the ABC Raceway. $4,000 to win for Superstocks. Fastlane Motorsports, they build the Galloper chassis, custom powder coating, fabric, any kind of fabricating you need, sandblasting. They're the parts vendor at multiple tracks up there. If they can finally get a race up in that area, would be kind of nice. But Chris and the gang, super good people. Check them out if you need parts, tires, you name it. Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating in Ashland. All right, boys, real quick here, we'll run through a little who's hot, who's not. Bert, who's hot?
I'm gonna leave the low hanging fruit out there, and I'll go with Jason Fager. He won the previous week, and he finished second last night at Macomb. So good couple weeks for him.
Yeah, hell of a run right there. Anybody on the local level you want to give a shout out to on the hot list, or?
I'll go with Troy Springborn. He's won 2 straight features at Shawano Speedway. So we'll see where he goes this weekend, because Plymouth is also racing this weekend.
Oh boy, Super 6 action going on at Plymouth. Coach Krause, who's hot?
Well, I think we got to start talking about Carson Macedo, folks. Pretty sure he's up to second in points, is he not now?
He is. He is.
Beat Mr. Gravel the other night. I think they ran on Sunday, did they not? Or Monday? Was that a Monday night race?
Monday.
And all of a sudden he's super consistent. He's fast. So I looked at the points, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh boy, Shots ain't up there anymore. And all of a sudden we got some other company up there, which is absolutely awesome. Good to see him fast. Seems like a good guy. We need some more competition up there. And then, the local scene, Ryan, especially, I do something in my area. There's a lot of parity over here right now between Viking, I-94, my tracks around here, KRA hasn't, I don't think they've even been ran yet. Montevideo's got a show in there, but there's just been a lot of parity around here, which is good to see. It's really good to see different winners, there's in the street stocks and in the Midwest mods, and there's not really anybody really hot right now. But I'm just really happy with the parity of, especially over in central Minnesota here with lots of different winners.
There you go. Catch that action live. Dirt Race Central, by the way, Saturday nights at the Viking Speedway. Some good racing action. All right, I have on the hot list, I'm going to go Garrett Alberson. Guys, over the last like 11, 12 races, he's only had one night out of the top 6. He's been good. Maybe last night. I don't know where he 6th or 7th last night. Garrett Alberson has been extremely consistent, guys. He is literally knocking on the door. He's in striking distance of being in that final 4 positions in the Lucas Oil. Alberson has been consistently on the podium, and if not for like a caution with just a few laps to go and Ricky Thornton Jr. stealing his thunder, he would have had his first ever Lucas Oil win. But it's really cool seeing the growth in Garrett Alberson in that 58 and Lucas Oil late model action. I think he's got some wins coming. He's going to be a guy to watch throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, Dexton Cook in the supers. I mean, 3 straight wins, 6 on the year, absolutely been on a rail in the 78K. And then in the modified division, Jim Chisholm, Brandon Davis, 2 of the top guys that are going to be contending this weekend. Jim Chisholm with a pair of wins, Brandon Davis with a win this past weekend. Those 2 are extremely good, and they got to be the heavy favorites at home at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Michael Platzer, a fan of the show, actually sent a message over. He goes, I got a little who's hot, who's not. He wanted to give a shout out to Lee Gross, running pretty solid there in the modified, or in the late model, excuse me. Rookie in the late model, kind of looks like he belongs. And Kraus, how about Jim Carlson? A guy that races over at Menominee and Cedar Lake, that he's just kind of been a guy on the track for a number of years, running middle of back, not really contending for wins. He upgraded his equipment this year, and he's been battling in the top 5 all year long. There's a tip of the cap right there, Jim Carlson. Keep up the good work over there in Wisconsin. All right, Bert, who's not?
I'm going to go with Krause's buddy, Bishop.
Yeah, that's low-lying fruit right there. You got anybody on the local level? Anybody else you want to give a little who's not to?
I can't think of anybody on the local level. I do want to add one more local driver to the hot list. Trent Nolan won his 2nd straight feature at Shawano Speedway. We talked about him last week. He spun in the heat and won the feature from last, and he backed it up this past weekend and won again.
There you go. There you go. Kraus, who's not?
Haven't heard much about Mike Marlar lately. High expectations at Lucas at the Show Me. Hasn't really been doing too much. So, one of those guys who's kind of only been sticking to Lucas, doesn't race all the time. I think that's been hurting him. So, just live update, Fiesta City Speedway photo finish in the super stocks. Jay Knapper got by Sean Furcus coming out of 4. I had no clue who won. I don't know if you're aware, Fiesta City's got, the checkered pole on the fence. It's not the flag stand. I learned that many years ago. Probably threw a fit. I'm like, no, I won the race to the flag stand. What are you talking about? But really good race there. So yeah, I haven't heard, where's Marlar? We were talking a month ago that he's going to be in the mix here with these guys. So he hasn't really done it. And, my sample size really isn't big enough yet for the not hot list. Once we get rolling into, we get, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks into some of these WISSOTA guys, then we'll start picking on some who's not hot.
I have a couple here. I had Marlar on the top of my list as well. 23rd, 9th, and 23rd this past weekend down at Wheatland. He's fallen out of the top 4. He is now 5th in the Lucas Oil standings. Justin Vogel, who spent kind of the first month cuddling, kind of figured that he was going to come back. Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour, figured he was going to contend. He was quick, but I didn't see him finish any races. He kind of had a rough weekend. So Justin Vogel, there's a benefit to starting early in the year. You can kind of knock that rust off when the money's on the line. So let's see if he can get it together this weekend. And then 29 Star. You're staying on this not hot list until you get your shit together. Just going to be completely honest there. So we need to see a little bit more out of the old Jeff Kraus ride. And Michael Platzer has one WISSOTA front office. Is there a decade that can maybe what decade is it going to happen where they actually have the WISSOTA points updated and accurate and not a week or two behind? It's like the only series out there that's constantly always behind on the points. You're spot on. It's super frustrating for us as well. All right, guys, our Fast Five. We're going to take just a few minutes each, and we're going to shout out anything we haven't touched on, anything that comes to mind, things that might have happened this past week. But first, a shout out to Daytona 1 Performance Lubricants. Of course, Buck is in the Hall of Fame for NASA. For lubricants, super intelligent guy, a lot of great products. You can check them out online, check them out on Facebook. They have the Daytona 1 Gen X late models where they have a great product. They can do anything they want to their tires. They got to run used ones, but they have some tire treatments out there that help you get more life out of them. They got cleaners. They got a lot of great products other than those. And get a hold of Chad. If you're curious about any of the products they have at Daytona 1, call Chad at 507-828-3536, Daytona 1 Performance Lubricants. All right. Bert, let's start with you. Fast Five. Take a couple minutes. What else? What haven't we touched on that you feel, hey, it stuck out to you this weekend? You want to give it a quick shout? Racing related, what do you got?
A couple of things from 141 Speedway. They also race on Saturday night. Last week for their weekly show, they have 6 divisions. Their weekly show, they had 230 cars for their weekly show.
Holy shit. Are they still racing? Are they intermission yet? Or?
Well, the thing is, they have a hard curfew, so they have to be done by like 10:30 at night. And
wow.
but they run through their program. I mean, I would say normally they get 170 to 180 per week. But this last week they had 230. And also regarding 141, we've talked about the Clash at the Creek. That's a 10,000 away 9C modified show. Up until this year, because in the off season they announced that they're going to run 2 $5,000 shows rather than one big $10,000 show. But that changed over this past week. Thanks to the help of one of their sponsors, they're going to be running 2 $10,000 to win modified shows for the Clash at the Creek. So that's a pretty big deal. So we'll see if it draws more drivers or not. And then one final thing, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this or heard this, but at Channel Speedway, their sport mod features have been a caution fest pretty much every week. So at the drivers meeting, they made the sport mod drivers stay afterwards, and they asked them, what do we got to do to get more laps in? And the track said that, if you guys can't get a bunch of laps, if it's a bunch of cautions before you even get 1 or 2 laps in, we're going to pull you into the infield. You will sit in your car the entire time. We're going to run the next feature, and then maybe we'll send you out after that one, or maybe we'll run another feature, but you have to stay in your car the entire time. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Did they end up having to do it or not yet?
No, they did not do it last week.
I have seen timeouts happen. I have seen that. That's great. Coach Kraus, Fast Five. What else stuck out to you this past weekend?
That's a Terry Volz thing, Ryan. Remember, they used to always do it all the time in Aberdeen. Bert, them Midwest mods. They did to the supers a couple times there too. I remember we were out packing, and I was sitting in the infield. I was in heat 2. We were out there midweek or something, and one of the super heats couldn't get going. Bert, they parked them and then sent us out there, and then they finished their race later. So hey, sometimes it works. So no,
I actually think that's a good idea. Rather than ending the race because of the time limit, pull them into the infield, run the next races, and if you have time left over, let them run then.
Yeah, the one time they did it in Aberdeen, Bert, they went out there and went green to checkered after the Midwest mods. It was in the feature, so it's like shape up or you're not going to get to race. Uh-huh. Shaped up in a big hurry. So no, a couple takeaways I got, Ryan, was the lack of late model racing this weekend over Memorial Day weekend for Wasotas. I know Hibbing, a couple of tracks up there ran, but there was nothing down this way. I-94 was off. There wasn't a whole lot of late model stuff going on. So I think maybe something, promoters should maybe see if they can get something going back with that deal for late model deal. And then, something's got to be done with this modified nationals deal, Ryan. We had $10,000 on the line between, I don't know when they got rained out, but I think we need to go back to the 10, 15. I mean, when it obviously, I'm not being biased, but when it was that Viking, you came down every year, Ryan. We ran $7,000 for years, and then we remember we went to 10, and then we did the increment. It was 11, 12. Was growing, and we were getting 50, 60 cars, and pretty much everybody was coming over. And I mean, heck, we got Ryan Aho to come down to the high flying half mile, Bert, and this breaking it up into 4 nights. I don't know. It's I want to see the, whether it's the Mod Nationals or the Minnesota Mod Nationals or whatever it may be. I wanted to get back and start that tradition again that we had back in the early 2000s. We went into the 2010s and continue that one big money race. You know what I mean? I'd really like to see that. So just a couple takeaways that I had picked up from this past weekend.
Yeah, and I agree. And then you start looking at it, right? I mean, they call it the Mod Nationals in, what was there, 12 or 14 Supers. There was like under 10 Hornets, under 10 Mod 4s. It's like, just ixnay some of these classes, go down to 3 classes, put bigger money on the line, go to 1 class with 1 support class. But I don't think it's working. I mean, some of the racing was pretty darn good, but I think it's lost its luster. It just feels different, so to speak. Speaking of which, I do want to give a shout out Johnny Broking. Didn't look very good in Hibbing, but he did look good when the money was on the line. But one thing that I kept in mind on, I said, Johnny, hey, pretty good run there. You got the win. Car was pretty quick. I said, you speed that thing up and you're going to be almost as fast as a B-Mod. He's like, what are you talking about? So the track was pretty sticky, guys. And I looked at lap times. The B-Mods were over a half a second lap faster than the A-Mods. So for all you out there that are like, oh, man, big motors and this and that, well, the B-Mods and the Superstock lap times were both faster than the A-Mods at Princeton. And it wasn't dry slick. It was grippy with a little character. So I found that interesting. Most violent roll I saw all weekend, I guess, in Wissota country, that B-Mod, I don't remember his name. Should have written that down, but tore the fence down there in Princeton. Fence did its job. We kind of commented as like, oh, what kind of fence is that? Well, kept the car out of the crowd, and that thing shot straight into the fence. So fence did its job, and hats off to the guys at Princeton for getting that back going in a pretty timely fashion. Thunder Bay, got to give a shout out, guys. Joel Kreiderman, opening night winner in the modified up in Thunder Bay. It's always good seeing the 51 parking it in Victory Lane. World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, you touched on that. 3 races this past weekend, top 3 in points separated by 52. But holy shit, on Monday, you want to talk about a madhouse? Guys, 12 rollovers. 12 in one night. That's a record. Unbelievable. Bill Rose, did you see his rollover in the heat race? He might still be rolling down the front straightaway. Absolutely nuts. Check that out on Dirt Vision. Cedar Lake Speedway, Cade Nelson with another win. A little bit of drama in the USRA late models. Third generation driver Matthew Larson, Larry Fitzsimmons, not really playing nice. Little kissy face, little post stuff happening on the yellow. Fitzsimmons kicked off. 13-year-old. Think about this name. Tell me if something rings a bell here, guys. 13-year-old Garrett Tatnall. He won the 600cc. Okay, where do you recognize that name Tatnall from?
Must be Brooks' kid.
That is Brooks' kid. So Brooke Tatnall is an Aussie. He's from Australia. And I didn't know this until I was doing a little bit of research. You heard of that Jerry Rickert Memorial they have at Cedar Lake for the sprint cars. Brooke Tatnall married his daughter. I believe it's his daughter. They live in Forest Lake. So now the Australian living in the States is 13-year-old kid, third generation driver. Kind of just a cool little history lesson there for the sprint car fans. Lucas Oil, 20 RT, pair of wins, and the Show Me 100, first crown jewel of the year, Superman Jonathan Davenport. Second place in that one, right, was the second place was Rocket One. That is about the best I've seen Tim McCready in Rocket One since he's been in the ride. +8 or +7, started 8th, got second, and it was an 80 lap race cut from 100. Guys, have you ever seen a race yellowed only for a helmet change? Because it was sticky the whole entire race, and they literally stopped the race, did a yellow for a helmet change for tear-offs. Have you seen a race where I've seen where people have changed helmets or tear-offs on a yellow? but I've never, in my experience, seen a race stopped only for a helmet change. Kraus, have you?
Yeah, we're at World of Outlaw Late Model Show back at the old big half mile of Red River Valley Speedway back in, I'm going to say 2003, Ryan. They had late models and super stocks, and we had a rain delay, and they were racing. And it was actually Billy Moyer Jr., Scott Bloomquist, and Brian Burkhofer put on an absolute show, Bert. It was a plowed field. We ripped rear ends out of the super stock. They stopped halfway for a mandatory tear-offs with the late model guys. You could not see Bloomquist or Burkhofer's cars because they were black. You couldn't see their numbers, Bert. You didn't know who they were. They'd come by the backstretch. You didn't know who they were. So I have seen it once before, Ryan, and it was the gumbo at the big half mile at the Red River Valley Speedway.
Yeah, that's crazy when that happens. Ross Robinson plus 21 as well, 25th to 4th. So pretty solid racing. RTJ started on the pole after winning the first 2 nights. Complete dump truck, completely missed the setup, got 5th. That was a surprise. High limits, they had 75 grand to win. Danny Dietrich, Pennsylvania Posse member, fending off, right? Not only the high limit guys, but there was multiple World of Outlaw guys there as well. 75 grand for Danny Dietrich. And 7 BC of Tyler Courtney, 8 points ahead of Brad Sweet in them points. Now, I do have a couple more things here. Electric City Speedway. Kraus, did you see who won the feature in the Super Stocks at the Electric City Speedway in Great Falls, Montana?
I did, but I do not remember his name. I saw the pictures in the post.
DJ Keeler from Superior, Wisconsin.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, what's he doing out there? Well, I went to message him on Facebook. Good job. And I was looking, I'm like, well, shit, he told me he was going out there. I forgot he has family out in Montana, decided to make the trip, brought the car, and then it was able to experience racing in front of some family in Montana. 8th to 1st, a hell of a run for DJ Keeler. He was super fast last year, won quite a few races, and something I should have done, right? My mom's from Montana, got a bunch of family out there. I never brought the car out there. I should have. Still have an opportunity. I have a guy that says, hey, come out anytime. You can drive my car. I won't be quite as fast as I was before. I can promise you that, but I might have to make the trip and make that happen. So congrats to DJ Keeler. I want to give a shout out to Daryl Nelson, Hermantown Hammer, fresh off, kind of a rough off season there, right? With some health issues. First race of the year this weekend. Doing a little cherry picking. Kraus, is it normal though? I mean, first race of the year, first race back, come out, you got to do a little cherry picking in your first trip to the racetrack?
Yeah, well, when you're getting old like all of us are, you got to get the muscle memory and the reflexes back. So you have to do that.
Yeah, so he went to Mississippi Thunder. He's going to be racing the big deal this weekend. Little bit of cherry picking there, or not so much, right? Nothing like throwing yourself to the wolves. Good luck to him. But I want to give a shout out. Caden Blazer heard a motor, and he took one of his, borrowed it to Caden, so Caden can be down there. That's just kind of guy Daryl Nelson is. NASCAR. We don't talk too much about NASCAR, but are you guys surprised that Stewart Haas has announced that after the 2024 season, they are no longer going to have a team in NASCAR?
Well, I've been reading rumblings about this was going to happen. I've been reading it for probably a couple months, but I am surprised that it's actually happening. Tony Stewart's a multi-time champion in NASCAR, and the team was successful. Although the last few years, it hasn't had the success that it's had in the past. So it's definitely a changing landscape.
Yeah, he's doing the NHRA deal. He's drag racing, trying to be a dad. Of course, Haas, right? They got the F1 stuff going on, but are the dominoes going to fall? Are we going to see more teams disappearing? Is this going to be a trend, or is this a one-off deal? Kraus, what do you think?
Boy, I don't know. This is a big announcement. This is huge. You know what I mean? And obviously, I think it had Harvick retiring. I definitely think that had something to do with it because he's a big time name. And they've been the team's been really actually terrible this year. They really have. So, but you're talking 4 cars. This is a big time deal. So it'll be interesting to see what pans out. And Tony's had his thoughts about NASCAR over the years, and there's a reason why he's not behind the seat right now. He's sitting in an NHRA car. You know what I mean? There's no rhyme or reason why Tony Stewart shouldn't be sitting in a NASCAR, but in a Cup car weekly, but he's not. So I think you could see it coming, but huge loss. NASCAR's got to make sure they have Tony Stewart in the Cup Series. So it's gonna be a big loss. It's gonna be sad to see all those guys not around.
For sure. One last thing here, Kraus. Any first time winners this week at Viking or?
Oh boy, I don't even know. I don't think so.
Super
stocks. I think Mr. Ryan Satter did. The 67 is now in a super, so good for Ryan. He actually came over. He was looking for me after the races. I dodged him like the plague, but no, I got to know Ryan pretty good over the years. So good to see him get a win. Live update from Fiesta City Speedway. Matt Gilbertson won the late models. The mods are on the track right now. Mr. Buzzy Adams started dead last. He's now 4 laps down. He must have pulled off. So he's playing the point average game. Buzzy's just going to shut her down and play the point average game instead of being down at Mississippi Thunder trying to win $100,000. He's at Montevideo playing the point average game.
Yeah, he's focusing on that kid trying to win a national championship. So hopefully it's a point average game and not something catastrophic like an engine. Fan question of the week here by Uper Dan, friend of the show from up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. 2-part question, WISSOTA late model related. He said, class is growing. If you look across the WISSOTA landscape, this is one of the classes that's actually growing. There seems to be more cars coming in. 2-part question. Should Cedar Lake consider sanctioning WISSOTA late models on a weekly basis? It would be great for the region. It'd be great for WISSOTA. And they don't really draw any non-sanctioned cars from anywhere on a weekly basis anyway. Should Cedar Lake go back to WISSOTA late models on Saturday nights, guys?
I think it would be cool if they did, because it would give the drivers another opportunity to race and, give the Wisconsin drivers maybe a better chance at chasing a national title. I mean, Wisconsin drivers don't have many places to race late models. And I don't know if adding one track will make that much of a difference. But I guess this question kind of goes what you and I
don't be jumping the gun. Don't be jumping the gun. Don't be jumping the gun, Bert. What are you doing here? You're jumping the gun.
Okay.
Relax a little bit. Cedar Lake, in my opinion, Cedar Lake has nothing to lose by this, but their drivers have everything to gain, because the late models it's only your top 20 shows. So you look at some of them late models, Pat Dorr and such. They race Gonda Class Speedway. They race some Challenge Series stuff, some specials. Plus, they run Cedar Lake. I firmly believe that if Cedar Lake went back, you'd see a national title contender come out of Wisconsin. So I think it would definitely be a good thing. I agree, Dan. Part 2, Eastern Wisconsin, Bert. Okay, settle down over there. All right. Eastern Wisconsin, there's some late model stuff going on over there. Of course, you got Shawano, you got Outagamie, you got Plymouth, Gravity Park, Anago run some. I think they have some shows. And a lot of their drivers run WISSOTA legal cars anyway. Their stuff is legal to run WISSOTA. Some of them dabble into maybe, you see some of them show up to maybe Menominee, stuff like that. Should they consider at least a couple of those tracks sanctioning WISSOTA in 2025 for the late models over there like they used to?
Well, I definitely think that it should be looked at and researched and as an option, because they have to do something. I know some drivers who don't have WISSOTA legal motors will complain about it. I mean, that would have to be worked out, but I mean, Seymour's running 9 late model shows this year. I mean, Shawano races them weekly. If you could get those 2 tracks to go WISSOTA late model racing, maybe you could see some drivers jump into it, because they'd have some other places to race. I don't know, but
any rumors, Bert? Is there any rumors? Have you heard any rumblings? Has anybody mentioned anything over there?
Well, I talked to a driver this past weekend, and he said that he's heard some rumblings about it. But then I talked to somebody else who who quite often has some information as to what's going on, and he said he hasn't heard anything about it. So I don't know if it's been talked about or not yet, but I think in the off season it definitely needs to be looked at the very least.
Yeah, nothing to lose. Nothing to lose by doing that, in my opinion. All right, guys, 2024 Pick'ems brought to you by our friend Brad Parson. Brad Parson Soil and Egg Solution. Planting season is here. If you're in western Minnesota, the Dakotas, maybe you got your stuff in the ground already. I don't know. But we do know this. If you're in farming, you want to be more profitable. To be more profitable, you need higher yields. Higher yields, you need the right stuff in your spray packages. Brad has just that. Give him a call, 320-219-3542, and he can give you the information you need to do some testing to see if you can create your own data and be more profitable. Now, Brad also, he's putting a little coin in the kitty here, along with me, along with Kent, old worker bee, threw a little money in, boys, as well into the kitty here. And we're going to be raising some funds here. We're going to do some things. And the winner of our Pick'ems contest is going to be able to pick a driver. Maybe we'll have enough money to do more than one. But we're going to pick a driver in 2025, and the One to Go Show is going to sponsor a race car. So, sounds like Kraus maybe needs front bumpers. I did see some pictures. Well, maybe we'll do that. I don't know. You're going to have to win to make that happen. All right. This past week, our winners. We had a lot of shows last week, guys. So Uper Yeffy had plus 19. The old 71A here had plus 16. 29 Star, you had 15 to the good. Changa and Worker Bee plus 14. Bert, plus 13. Curtis plus 11. Dano at plus 8. Bromance and Man Bun Dan at plus 7. And Beefcake here at plus 5. Kind of struggle bus there for Beefcake. All right. Our standings right now, as they sit. Now, keep in mind, we had 2 shows already yesterday, and I think we're tied up top, okay? But those points don't count until the end of the week. So, Changa, I'm sorry. As of right now, Curtis, 2 points ahead, 127. Changa at 125. Coach, you're at 102 and third, 1 point ahead of me at 101, 1 point ahead of Bert at 100. Worker Bee, 96. Uper Yeffy and Beefcake at 94. Dano at 93. Bromance at 77. And Man Bun Dan at 75. So I have a 2-horse race right now up front with Curtis and Changa. Guys, we got some work to do. We got a hell of a race here for third, but it's not where we need to be. That race needs to be up front. So this week, we already picked last night, right? We picked Castro Flow Racing Night in America, RTJ won. We picked the first high limit race at Grandview. But here's what else we're picking, okay? The big deal, obviously, we're picking that at Mississippi Thunder. Once we know who's racing what night, we're going to pick Thursday prelims, Friday prelims, and the Saturday A main. The Fastlane Superstock Series. They're heading up to the ABC Raceway Saturday, Ashland, Wisconsin. 4,000 to win. Bert, who do you have in Ashland?
What is this? Which race is this?
Bert, Fastlane Superstock Series, ABC Raceway.
Oh, there's Terrence Spacek.
Coach?
I'm pretty sure I took Spacek too, but could be a curveball thrown in the mist now with Mr. 7A not down at Mississippi Thunder. I don't know what's going on. So that's who I took. Quick live update for Fiesta City Speedway. Nate Heinrich with the modified win. So good for Nate. Got back in a car last year. Used to run Midwest Mods back in the day. So good for him. And Lucas Schott, fast qualifier, Group 1 at Mississippi Thunder.
There you go. The locals standing out. All right. I have Taryn Spacek as well. So, Taryn, I'm sorry. You're pretty much probably fucked. You better hope Curtis and Changa picked you. NLRA late models. They run Friday at the River City Speedway, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Saturday, the Dick Johannick King of Dirt at the I-94 Speedway in Fergus Falls. All right, boys. Bert, who do you have?
Edgington ×2.
Coach?
I took our boy Dustin Strand ×2.
I took Dustin Strand night number 1. I took Ryan Michelson to win at Fergus Falls. And could Shane Sobraski be heading that direction? Possibly. I'm surprised as well. I mean, one of the best drivers in Wissota, I figured for sure he'd be at Mississippi Thunder. A little disappointed that he's not. Hunt the Front Late Model Series, Swainsboro, Georgia, Friday and Saturday night. Bert?
Overton ×2.
Coach?
I took Overton ×2. I forgot. I took Strand in River Cities, and I took PPO in Fergus. Sorry, I don't have my phone. I don't know who I picked, but I'm getting old. I hit tractor tires. I could have a concussion. Who knows? So I'm having a hard time remembering things, Ryan.
Probably that you might have concussion. That is for sure. I took Air Force Ashton Winger night number 1, and I took Big Sexy Brandon Overton night number 2. 20,000 to win late model race UMP Dirt Car Series. Gordy Gundaker promoting it at his dad's track, Tri-City in Granite City, Illinois. Saturday night, 20 large to the winner. Bert, who do you got?
I took Huddy.
Huddy? Is he? Oh, did he put it on his list? I did not see that. Okay.
It was on his. It was hard finding a driver who's racing this race because a lot of the top late model drivers are at Mississippi Thunder.
That's a good pick. I forgot to even look at him. So, all right. Coach?
Pretty sure I took Shannon Babb.
The Mowequa Missile Shannon Babb. That's who I took as well. Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour. Of course, you can catch a lot of these races on Dirt Race Central. If you're a Wissota fan, you better have a subscription to that. I-94. They run the prelude to the King of Dirt, and they run the King of Dirt Friday, Saturday. Buffalo River in Glendon, Minnesota on Sunday. Bert, who do you got?
Friday I took Egan. Saturday I took Egan, and Sunday I took Braden Brower.
Coach?
Oh boy, Kyle Dykoff first night, Eric Riley the second night, and I have no idea where are they in Lisbon again?
Buffalo River.
Oh, Buffalo River. I took, hold on here a sec now. I took Justin Vogel.
Vogel, the old Wolverine himself, the reigning champ. I took Kyle Dykoff both nights at I-94, Braden Brower. I took him at Buffalo River. High Limit Sprint Car Series, Lawrenceburg and Butler, Friday and Saturday. Bert?
Courtney ×2.
Coach?
Redheaded Stepchild ×2.
All right, that's Brad Sweet for you. And I took Sunshine Tyler Courtney as well. And last but not least, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars going to Bert's neck of the woods up in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. Bert, who do you have?
I have Gravel Friday night and Cotton's Child on Saturday night.
Coach?
I got Carson Macedo both nights, man. He's on the hot list. He's going to win them both.
Well, he's probably screwed now that you picked him because I took David Gravel ×2. So going to be able to catch that one. Bert, you going to go to either one of those not too far from Beaver Dam? No?
Nope.
Well, that's horse shit.
But not going this year.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys, 3 bold predictions. Every week we make 3 bold racing predictions. Sometimes Bert picks them and they're not so bold. And we keep track of our statistics. Bert, I pick on you, but you don't really seem to get too many right. You said Jake Tim would have 3 podiums this past week. That did not happen, surprisingly. I had 3 things come off the board and 3 things incorrect. I said Ty Egan would have the best average finish at the Dirt Race Central Street Stock Tour. Eric Riley did. He had the best average finish. I said Shane Sobraski would have a combined 5 or more feature wins by Tuesday. Slumping 7A did not have that. And I said the Thunder Bay, Thunder City Speedway, their opening night would have 125 or more cars. And I think I maybe got hosed on that because I guess it is what it is, but I anticipated them racing Wednesday. They rain delayed, ran on Thursday. They had like 105. And so that was a no as well. Uper Yeffy here. He said Sweet and Gravel would sweep their respective races in the high limits in the World of Outlaws. That did not happen. However, the only one to get one right this weekend, he said a non-regular in the USMTS would have at least one win and at least one additional podium finish this past weekend, and Brandon Davis got that done for him. Coach, you said 40 or more street stocks would be in attendance Saturday and Sunday at the High Flying Half Mile. 44 on night number 1, and with the assist of WISSOTA Auto Racing and their lack of letting them run real transmissions, 37 on night number 2, and so you did not get that correct. And Kenny, he said the Lucas Oil late models this past weekend at Wheatland would have 3 different winners. Well, RTJ won 2 of them. That was wrong. And he said 75% of the races that we picked last week, and there was a bunch would rain out, and that did not happen either. So as it sits right now, we keep track of correct predictions and percentage. Uper Yeffy, good old Jeff up there, good Jeff. He is leading the way, 15 correct. Bert, you're at 10. Kraus, you and I are at 7. We got some work to do. A lot of bunts there, I think, from the old Uper. Percentage 32.6, massive lead. So he's kind of getting her done up there. Peanut Gallery at 25.7, and us 3 are all underneath 20%. So we got some work to do. Uper Yeffy up there kind of getting her done. So we're gonna go Kenny, Uper Yeffy. We'll go Bert, Coach, Kenny, Uper Yeffy, and myself. So Bert, your first prediction of the week.
My first prediction of the week is Huddy gets his first feature win in his own ride.
All right, Hudson O'Neill getting his first feature win. So they run Friday. Is that count Friday as well, the prelim night, or are you only counting Saturday?
No, just Saturday.
Just Saturday. Okay. Coach.
Boy, Ryan, Caden Blazer, quick time right now, Group 2. Yeah, Dustin Sorensen 2, Steve Arpin 3. So it's not like he's racing against anybody, but good for him. It's good to go there. We're going. I'm going to make some people mad here, Ryan. But I'm doing this just to have some fun. And other than, let me ask you this: did JT Johnson show up to Mississippi Thunder?
I don't believe he did.
What's it to start the show?
2,500.
And he's already in it.
He's already in. Yep.
Wow. Us racers must all have concussions. I don't know. Maybe I would assume he's going to have to qualify, but it is what I'm going to say. Now that he's not there, this is without him. No WISSOTA cars are going to make the A main at Mississippi Thunder.
Fucking snipe me. Damn it. All right. You did. There goes one of mine. And I suck at this. I don't get any right, so you're probably screwed anyway because you're going with one of my picks. But no WISSOTA legal cars, no WISSOTA cars in the A main on Saturday. Yeah,
and then obviously, and I hope they do.
Yeah,
I hope they do. You know what I mean? But like I said, we got to have some fun with the fans, and everybody hates us anyway, so we might as well just get some more hate out there and have some fun with it.
I got to be honest. I'm a big Caden Blazer fan. I like seeing them young guns go, and if he's showing a pretty quick time there, that kid right there, he's one of the guys that kind of has that driving style. Like he's on the chip, right? I mean, he drives freaking hard. He might have a shot down there. All right, Kenny's first one, 2024 Fastlane Superstock Series. In this one right here, he goes, ask Kraus if this is a bunt or if this one is acceptable. Nobody will win more than one series race. No repeat winners in the Superstock Series in 2024.
That's legit. I'll give it that. There's been, if you look at the past history, there's been multiple guys that won them. So that's 7. I think there's 7 shows. So yeah, that's 2 for 7. That's good odds.
That's pretty bold. All right, Uper Yeffy. He's got bold, bolder, and boldest. Bold. Brandon Overton is going to go winless this weekend, and he will not be leading the points in the Hunt the Front Late Model Series after Swainsboro. It's pretty bold. And I'm going to kind of think, I don't know if this is a bunt because it's kind of a tight battle up front, but Sunshine Tyler Courtney is going to be the high limit sprint car series champion in 2024. Sunshine Tyler Courtney is going to get her done. All right, Bert.
I'm going to go World of Outlaw Sprints at Beaver Dam. For either show, there will be 22 or less cars at the show.
At least one of the shows will have 22 or less cars.
No, both of them will be 22 or less.
Both of them will. Okay. So both will be 22 or less cars. Bert, you have a horseshit attitude. All right. We need to maybe call HR here. I'm a little disappointed in you hating on Beaver Dam. All right. No, that's kind of, there's not sprint cars up there. So, I mean, kind of traditionally, I think you might be onto something.
Well, I think they only had 20 some last year, and that was before high limit. So,
right. Yeah, you could be spot on. All right, Coach Kraus, your second one.
Yeah, quick update from MTS. Tyler Nicely just bumped Caden Blazer for Group 2. So Tyler Nicely is going to be the fast qualifier in Group 2. We're sticking with Mississippi Thunder. It's the biggest race in the country right now. I'm going all three predictions. 5 different chassis builders in the top 5 spots at Mississippi Thunder.
Top 5 will be all different chassis builders on Saturday night. All right. Kenny's second one. He's going to go the big deal as well. A Minnesota driver will win the big deal at Mississippi Thunder. A Minnesota driver will win. All right. Uper Yef, we're going to go to Boulder here. David Gravel winless this weekend at Beaver Dam, and he's going to leave Beaver Dam not in the point lead. So parlay there, he's not going to win either night, and he's going to lose the point lead to either Macedo or to Donnie Schatz or to both. All right, my second one, and I am going to go to the big deal as well, Mississippi Thunder Speedway. So I got a little parlay here. So I'm going to go the combination of, and this is for Saturday's results only, okay? Brandon Davis, Jim Chisholm, Lucas Schott, Jake Tim. They will have better results than Dan Ebert, Rodney Sanders, Bobby Pierce, and RTJ. So Brandon Davis, Jim Chisholm, Lucas Schott, Jake Tim will have better results on Saturday than Ebert, Sanders, Pierce, RTJ. All right, Bert.
All right, I'll go, since everybody's doing the big show, I'll do one from there, and I'll support one of the local drivers here, and I will say that Benji Lacrosse will make the big show.
Benji Lacrosse in the dance. All right. Probably the top IMCA guy there.
He's an IMCA driver.
Do you know, Bert, is he running IMCA legal, or did he get some stuff to do something different?
I do not know. I just know that he's there.
It'd be nice if they could put like side next to their car, IMCA car with soda. That'd be kind of nice to see. I don't know if they will. All right, Coach Kraus, your third and final prediction.
Yeah, I got some breaking news here. Scott Bloomquist not only made it on the track for qualifying, he actually finished qualifying.
Holy shit.
He's slow, but he actually finished qualifying. So my last one.
Hold on. Stop right there. Stop. Do you have a notepad real quick?
Yeah.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Grab it. I want you to take notes on how to actually finish something when you get out on the racetrack. So you can kind of do that this weekend.
I'm 1 for 6 this year. That's not awful. Actually, sorry. 2 for 6. 33%. That's better than my grade point average in high school. So, I mean, that's not all bad, right?
Fair enough. All right. Your
last
third
one.
And final.
We're going, there will be 3 UMP cars finish in the top 5 at Mississippi Thunder.
3 UMP cars in the top 5. Now, off the record, not related to the picks, if you had to say which top 3, who would you say?
Oh boy, you're putting me on the spot here now. Well, I was gonna go Tyler Nicely. Obviously Bobby Pierce is in an ump car, I would believe, correct?
I think he's in a USRA car.
It looked like he had a small spoiler on the back of the thing. It looked weird. I don't know. Maybe he is.
Okay. I'm not positive.
But Steve Arpin, Nicely, and Ethan Dodson.
Okay. That's off the record. So 3 in the top 5 UMP cars, 3 of them in the top 5. All right. So we got Beefcake here. I don't know why I wrote down Kenny. We got Beefcake. I got to change that. So Beefcake's third and final. In the feature race on Saturday, National Series drivers that compete in the World of Outlaw, Lucas Oil, and USMTS will have a better average finish than drivers that are not on tour. So that could be tough to quantify. We'll have to figure that out when the time comes. All right, Uper Yeffy, boldest. The Onum Big Deal, Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Going to be a local that wins. Now, I didn't say nothing here because I'm kind of a jackass that way, but by local, he put Minnesota and Wisconsin. So a Minnesota or Wisconsin driver will win. So he is going to be awfully salty if Jim Chisholm parks it in Victory Lane as an Iowa guy that lives right across the border. So Minnesota or Wisconsin driver wins down there. Well, Kraus took my third one. So I'm going to go Fastlane Superstock Series. Saturday night, ABC Raceway, Ashland, Wisconsin. 3 of these 4 drivers will finish on the podium. So it gives me an out on one of them. Terrence Fasek, that's who I picked to win. Steve Stewart, local up there, multiple track championships. Ashtray, Kurt Myers, and Joey Jensen. 3 of those 4 will make up the podium finishes Saturday at the ABC Raceway in Ashland, Wisconsin. So any more updates there, Kraus, before we sign off here?
No, Group 3's on the track right now. I think the first 12 are done. Brandon Davis leading the way right now in Group 3. Is it?
Do you have the account, the XR account, or are you on Facebook, or what are you doing there?
I'm on my TV. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So you do have, so you are all right. So you are watching. They do have it streaming. I didn't know if they had qualifying streamed or if they were doing that like on a Facebook.
Yeah,
Live.
they had hot laps. They streamed all the hot laps. Chris Steppen and someone else are doing the announcing. I recognize the guy's voice. It must be the local MTS guy. But they've been doing a good job. You know, it's a lot of different cars. So
is it Trenton Berry? Is it Trenton Berry?
No,
it's not. Okay,
I don't think so. I think I know who he is, but I don't think it is. I'm not sure. Who knows? It could be, but they're doing a good job explaining who are these drivers are, because a lot of these people haven't. You know, you turn on for the first time, they're at MTS. Probably a lot of people don't know who Tyler Nicely is in this area. So they're doing a good job with that. Yeah, and everything right now is being streamed.
And Steppen does the modified portion. He does a lot for dirt car. So like he does the modified portion at the Prairie Dirt Classic. So, and then of course he obviously announced a lot of WISSOTA stuff, and he announced for USMTS for a while as well. So he knows. I mean, we give the guy a lot of shit, but I mean, I got to be honest. There's probably not a better announcer out there than Chris Steppen. There's just not. I mean, he's very good at what he does. So I'll be tuning into that as well. So race fans, a lot of racing to happen this weekend. Punch the buttons. Let us know. Let us know if you have any questions, any feedback, any predictions, anything. And you see anything good, bad, or ugly, let us know. And keep track of what we're doing. Let us know if we're doing good. Let us know if we're doing bad. Thanks for tuning into the show. Catch your favorite race this weekend. Thanks for tuning into the One to Go show.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please leave a review and subscribe. It is Puka. And Goat Sports has another show out there by podcast, Facebook, and YouTube. It's the Tea with Miss McGill show. Covers hockey, high school hockey in northern Minnesota. So if you're into hockey, you can find us on podcast under Tea with Miss McGill. You can find us on YouTube or Facebook, G.O.A.T Sports Media LLC. Yours truly and Coach Reed Larson. We break it down every week. We also do some interesting interviews. We'd love to have you. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll catch you next week.